5, 4, 3, 2.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. In the name of God, the beneficent, the most merciful, all praises due to God. Welcome back to Honest Opinion, keeping it real and making it happen. We are very thankful and honored to have this opportunity to address our family. We say family because we all one part of the human family. And we have some information today that we wanted to share with you, as always. And we are hopefully that this information would inspire you, and motivate you, and cause you to react in a positive way in order to get the job done. Because there are forces that's coming against us as a people that will take away from us a lot of the gains that we have already acquired. You would think that you take one step forward and you end up taking 2 steps backwards. Things that we have to deal with now, we had dealt with it many years ago, but they seem like they won't go away, and it seems like they're testing our spirit. But as we defeated it before, then we're going to come back and defeat it again. So what are you talking about, Hakeem? What I'm talking about with today's subject is called voter suppression. And we're going to explain this to you in depth. And we got some panel members here that's expert in this field that would allow you to think and be able to motivate yourself and let it be known. They say, no, they ain't going to do this to us again. Because it motivated us to let us know that we have the power within our hand. So with no further delay, I was going to give you my monologue, and then we'll turn it over to Brother Jarvis Al-Amin. He's going to introduce the guests, as always, and they would start dealing with the subject matter. So here we go. Voter suppression. Voter suppression is a strategy to influence the outcome of an election by discouraging or preventing people from exercising their right to vote. On May the 19th, Governor Rick Scott signed the bill HB 1355, election bill that many believe is a clear attempt to suppress voters and make it tougher for President Barack Obama to capture Florida. The prize is 29 electoral votes. And I'll pause here for a minute to let you know how the stakes are very high. You got 29 electoral votes for the state of Florida. You can have maybe 20 states that the electoral vote would not add up to 29. So Florida really is a target state. So I would continue. 29 electoral votes on 2012. One key controversial change that the bill has made is that early voting will no longer be 15 days. The bill reduced early voting to a meager 8 days. This change is seen as an attempt at voter suppression because reducing early voting from 2 weeks to 8 days reduce voting opportunity for people with inflexible jobs who tend to have difficulty getting to the poll during the work week. These are generally lower income residents who are also most likely to be minority. In addition, the bill states that voters who have moved or changed the name since the last election can only update their status at the poll. If they have moved within the same county, all others must cast provisional ballot. The problem with this change is that it will negatively affect renters and people who move often, which is a common situation for lower income Floridians. These are several other elements of this bill that will make it more difficult and discouraging for minority to exercise their right to vote. Indeed, Tallahassee City Commissioner Andrew Garland said the following about the bill. Not only did Governor Rick Scott just made it harder for Floridians to vote, he did so like a coward, without explaining and in private. This is an insult to the very foundation of our democracy, and all of the hard-working Floridians who made their voices heard through the early voting and provisional ballot. Rick Scott just proved himself to be an enemy of open, transparent democracy. On today's show, we will talk more in depth about this bill and other attempt to suppress our vote and right to make our voices heard. So you heard this, and hopefully you benefited from this. And I'm going to immediately turn the microphone over to Brother Jarvis Al-Amin, in which in return we're going to dive right into it and give you opportunity to call and voice your frustration, voice your opinion, because again, this is a community show and we want community involvement. All part of the million listeners that we have.
Hakeem, the dream is smoking this morning. Welcome to Honest Opinion, keeping it real, making it happen. AM 1150, 96.1 FM, and WTMP.com. This is a very, very serious show. It's going to get hot up in here, but on a serious note, because what we get talking about this morning, the topic today is voter suppression or defeat Obama in 2012. You make the call. You can follow us on YouTube at Honest Opinion and Facebook at Honest Opinion. Also, the call-in number here is 813-251-9867, 813-251-WTMP. We'll open the lines up 9:30, 9:35. Also, June is Men's Health Month. And so if you have any healthcare concerns and don't have no money to get your treatment, call the Red Crescent Clinic. It's a free clinic operated by the Muslim community at 813-246-5009, 813-246-5009. All you have to do is set an appointment. It's not no urgent care. To set an appointment, and it's all free. Well, I've been talking about this event for the last 3-4 weeks. We're coming down to the wire. We're looking for those vendors that would like to come to this expo. It's a home safety expo we're doing on the Father's Day weekend, Saturday, June the 18th, from 12 to 2:30 at the Hope Center, across from Milton High School, sponsored by Tampa Signal, authorized dealer for ADT, and Michelle Patty Referral Service. Home safety tips, fire prevention tips, crime prevention tips, and a special presentation with internet camera technology. Free home buyers information, free foreclosure information, music by DJ Marvelous, and free foreclosure information. Some of our partners who are working with us on this event is the CDC of Tampa, Candy Low Tea Times, Girls Raised in the South, Honest Opinion, WTMP Talk Show, East Tampa Business and Civic Association, and Coach Foundation, and Northview Hills Homeowners Association. We're looking for insurance agents, handyman, locksmith. Booth space is still available. You need to call me today, 813-787-6652, 813-787-6652. All right, voter suppression. We have in the studio with us. We have Ella Coffey, who is a political consultant. She's been out on the scene getting it done. Good morning, Ella, and welcome to the show, and tell us a little about yourself.
Good morning. Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to be here with you again this morning to speak on such an important issue. Just a little bit about myself. I've been in the Tampa Bay area here for close to 30 years, and the last few years have been really delving in some political endeavors here in the community. Also served as the Secretary of the Hillsborough County Democratic Executive Committee. Thank you.
All right, then also she worked with the Obama campaign in 2008, was one of our fellow working on the campaign that got a nice position there. We were so proud of you, Ellen, and thank you for coming to the show. Welcome to Honest Opinion. Also, we have in the studio with us, we have Layla Abdulaziz. She's the field coordinator for Emerge USA in the Tampa Bay region. Good morning, Layla. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Jarvis. Thank you, Jarvis and Hakeem, for inviting me on the show. I am the Central Florida field coordinator for Emerge USA, a nonprofit organization that works to represent the Arab, Muslim, and South Asian American communities within the state of Florida, and of course nationally as well. We work, registering voters, getting out the vote, and as you know, these laws really directly affect what we do as a nonprofit organization for the sake of these minority groups. And look forward to discussing this.
And that's why we wanted you here. She got a wonderful radio voice. We got our youth coming in. It's gonna get sweet and nice up in here. But I got my dear friend here, Mr. Terry Watson. Welcome to the show, Terry. You're not a stranger to Honest Opinion. As a matter of fact, you want to always come to Honest Opinion when we need to call you. Tell us a little about yourself. Come a little closer to the microphone.
Well, thank you, Hakeem. Thank you, Jarvis. And Jarvis, when I'm through, I expect you to say to me that I had the sweet voice. And I'm so excited to have me here. But I suspicion that's not going to happen. I'm the CEO of My Health Recovery, which is an organization that helps people who have been through traumatic illnesses and injuries to get their lives back on track. What brings me here today, though, is that during the 2008 election, I served as chair of the Tampa Bay O-Train, which ran the volunteer effort in this area during the primary. I also served on the National Platform Committee for the Democratic Party, so have been very involved in politics and voting issues here in this area. And thank you again for inviting me.
Always a pleasure, Terry. This is Honest Opinion, keeping it real, making it happen. We're going to delve right in. We're going to talk about this voter suppression and these new election laws. If you want to know why you should vote, and you want to know why you should get involved in politics, I'm going to say one word to you. Rick Scott. That's all I'm going to say. If you don't think there's any reason to vote, if you got a Social Security card, you ain't dead till you got a death certificate. You can't be born until you got a birth certificate. So if you're in America, you're already involved in politics. But the reason that you should be actively involved is one word, Rick Scott. One bad election is going to affect our life tremendously, and we're talking about how we've been affected by it now. Voter suppression under the disguise of voter fraud, with no evidence of voter fraud, is really an overall strategy for the Republicans to try to defeat not just President Obama in 2012, but any progressive thinking Democrat in 2012. So let's get right to it. I'm going to go to you first, Terry. In your own words, what do you think let me get the question. What do you think voter suppression is?
Well, voter suppression, to find out what it is, all you have to do is take a look at the bill that we just passed in the state legislature and that our governor just signed. Voter suppression is when you take some moves in order to ensure certain segments of the population have a more difficult time voting. And let me quote one of our Republican members of the state legislature on this. Senator Mike Bennett of Bradenton said, "Florida has made voting too easy. I want them to fight for it. I want them to have to walk across town to vote." Now I want you to notice the word "them."
Right. Ooh, like you people. Trench sound like you people.
He's not talking about his family having to walk across town to vote. So go from there on it.
Oh my God, Terry, you set the tone. This sounds like Tunisia, Yemen, Egypt, one of them other countries that everything but shooting us in the street sound like Syria. This is difficult. Sound like Libya. Sound like South Africa, apartheid and apart love. And we know where the hate went. Well, this is serious business.
Every segment of this new law is designed to prevent certain people from going and voting.
All right.
So that's where we face the problem. Whether it's the Sunday vote, we'll get to that in just a moment.
We will.
Name change, the difficulties that they are presenting to people who change their names, the early voting problems, the voter registration. We're going to get into all of that.
We're going to go right to the division. Let's jump right in, Ella. Jump right into that microphone. You know, because me and you was out in the trenches together. Let's look at Senate House Bill 1355. Let's start with early voting. This is really a shameful God that we had tried our best to get African American, Latino, and other minority groups to participate in early voting. We just couldn't get them to do it. It was a culture thing in our community to say, well, I want to go to the early vote. I want to cast my ballot. I don't want to go early. I don't like all that going early. And we broke through it. We struggled. 8 days, from 14 days to 8 days. How bad is that, Ella?
It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible, and it is a disgrace. The problem is now we have to go back and re-educate that no, you cannot go 2 weeks out. You can only go the week before. The hours are going to change most likely, and it's just going to be harder to get people to be energized to go back out to the polls because it's always another barrier for us. And we can't educate on the issues because we're constantly educating on when to go out to vote. So being able to educate people on the issues on why you need to go vote is not even a discussion anymore. This is when you go vote. We keep having the same conversation.
Right, and we're fighting the same battles over and over again.
Right.
Layla, jump into this microphone.